Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on, of course. Help us understand big picture and best practice. Now, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade. Hope you can learn a thing or two here today, and my goal is to help you become a better trader. So, CryptoCache.tech is the website, link in the description below if you would like to join my community. Now, at this point, just want to preface and apologize for not being able to get any content out yesterday. As you can tell, I'm dealing with a cold, and unfortunately, my voice is not that great. So I'm going to try to battle through this here quickly, get us some reassurances and kind of confirm a few things, then call it a day, all right? So with Bitcoin here, here's the big picture. Generally speaking, we're not in dire straits at all, right? This correction was a CME gap that we saw get filled, and it's really just one of those normal things that does occur from time to time, right? So if we can take a look here, you can see a few days ago we had a CME gap, big old gap there from futures, based on the fact that the price just jumped up really quick in between, on and off hours, so to speak. So that being said, if we look at Bitcoin, this gap has been filled. In other words, it's always one of those things that they have to essentially get the price back down to that same level to kind of get that, get all the profits essentially, and that is all taken care of. Okay, so again, that's a very normal thing, very standard for CME gaps to get filled. This is kind of a large one, so it's nice to see the price wick down to about 44.2, and of course maintain and hold above today here so far, above 44,500. Which is essentially a key level support, right? So again, 46 to 44,500 was kind of the support range. And the likelihood of the price coming down lower than this is fairly low based on this being such a strong support level. 44.5 was tested multiple times, and now it's going to probably hold because of the fact that the bears are like, no, this price, the bulls are telling us, hey, we're not willing to go any lower than this here. We got a nice support buy wall at that price point. So it's going to take a lot for the price to get down below that. Okay. So keep that in mind. I think we're likely going to be able to maintain a price point above 44,500. It's a very strong likelihood. Let's go and look at some of the key indicators here. Of course, once again, the 200 SMA is working as a resistance tentatively for the moment. And of course, we got the 50 trading right around 41,300. So heaven forbid the price were to come down and break. We do have a key level support here at about 42,200. 42.2, that was the most recent high that couldn't get past for a little while, and of course once it broke above, it went on a tear and continued very high. Another thing to note too is that when Bitcoin does this type of continuation, there's always a pullback. We're always going to experience some kind of retraction and consolidation because it's very healthy and normal for that to happen. In fact, the next leg up will probably be a lot stronger based on the fact that we're building more volume in this support channel between 44.5 and 46,000. All right, so generally speaking, we're looking really good here for Bitcoin in that sense. I personally do not feel it's going to come much lower. Half the reason why I was confident in opening a long position recently, as well as another ETH trade too, because I just feel as if we're going to be in really good shape here soon. Likelihood of breaking below that is pretty low just based on it being such a strong support level in the past. We can kind of rely on that. Now, don't get wrong, there's going to be some candle wicks down, which we've seen here so far. We might even get 2 or 3 more days of consolidation at this price point. That might be the case. I don't think we're going to see the price just shoot straight up from here. But after a consolidation, getting more volume in this price point, because once again, there's not a lot of volume in between this little channel here, as you can see. Once we get more volume at that price point, then the price will continue to increase and we'll be okay. RSI, of course, rejected off of 70 on the 1 day. We can see it coming down to potentially bounce off 50 on the RSI. Either way you look at it, the bottom line is it's continuing to ascend, and this is definitely a good sign here. Overall, there's nothing adverse that we can see. And of course, we look at the MACD on the big picture, the larger time frame, you can see we have this potential divergence that's going to potentially happen. Now, I'm not super concerned with that. The 4 hours is probably more of an appropriate one, but just want to let you know that it hasn't come to full fruition yet, essentially. And if you look at it this way, you could anticipate the fact that the price could come down further based on that sentiment. But I don't believe that that's very legitimate or actually going to happen. All right, and the main reason why too is because we could see the 200-day SMA working its way up about 42,000, as well as the 50, kind of working potentially as a resistance level. Now, typically it's supposed to work concurrent with the trend line, which of course it isn't based on the fact that price retraced and filled that gap. But generally speaking, we should expect the 50-day SMA to essentially become, I would say tentatively work as a resistance, but once we're back up above, we'll be in good shape. That's, again, not terrible. I prefer the 200 to be below the price action. That's great. So all in all, good stuff there. We also need to acknowledge the fact that we had a dip all the way down to 30 on the RSI. So this correction, so to speak, on the 4 hours, basically telling us, hey, the price is oversold. The likelihood of it coming back up again is fairly high. And we also have this shift in momentum here too, where you can see that we were starting to lose this bearish type of divergence. And again, no guarantees, of course. This is something that will kind of eventually come to play, but generally speaking, all goes well. We see something like this here in a couple of days, and we'll be able to get that MACD convergence to effectively give us a full-on confirmation of the big picture. And if you can see, anytime previously we've had this happen for Bitcoin, it's always recovered nicely and come back quickly. Okay, so again, a quick resolve could actually be the case. I personally feel we're going to get a little more consolidation before we get the price to ramp back up again. But generally speaking, whichever one, both scenarios are very likely. Again, there is potential for the price to come down a little bit lower. There's definitely potential there, but I think the key here is that we're maintaining this trend line, which is nice. And we're also maintaining the support at 44,500. Until we lose 44.5 on the daily, I think we're going to be in good shape. Okay, so again, all good stuff there in that sense. I don't see anything like terribly adverse. Obviously, there's some conflicting information. There's some that can go on both sides. Obviously, I get that. So again, not being completely naive here in the sense that the price could eventually retrace, but I do think that we're in pretty good shape here overall. There's more positive than negative in the sense of key level supports, and this being a strong support level previously. In fact, if we take a look at the volume, you can see it tried to come down lower, but it couldn't, and this push down to the downside was met with more volume and consistency. So we're not really in bad shape at all. Take a look at the 1 hour. We can tell that we are in a position right now where if you have a short position, you may want to consider closing that soon. In other words, the Ichimoku cloud is a really good conservative indicator, kind of letting us know that we're on the right side of the tracks, right? Well, at this point, with the price being lower and the price coming down, obviously we get a significant sell signal. So in other words, this is a short position, right? Or you should be in a short position right now based on the cloud, because we are below the cloud here. The conversion line is below the baseline, and of course, the lagging spans hasn't intersected with the price action. So technically speaking, you'd want to keep your short position open, but just know in the next 7 to 10 hours, this will likely come to a head as long as the price doesn't continue to progress lower. All right, so if we get the price to go sideways, then the cloud will basically be telling us to close our short positions and to be mindful and to be watching for a potential long. Now, generally speaking, you don't want to try to invest at this point and buy a dip, so to speak, based on the fact that we got the lagging span intersecting the price action. That's never the way to do it. You don't want to chase the bottom. But truth be told, with us being at a key level support here, I would feel confident, and I have felt confident, in taking a position to ensure that we have a long to the upside with a stop loss somewhere around 44,000. And with this waking down all the way to about 44,200, in that sense, we're looking pretty good in the overall sense of things. So all in all, I really like what I see here so far. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at TD Sequential. We can kind of see that the price came all the way down to a 7, got a little bit of a reset down to a 7 again. Actually, no, it went down to a 9, and now we're back up to a 7. So long story short here, at this price point of a 7, we have potential for 2 more hours of continuation in the upside, and then another potential push down. So we'll see if we can maintain this higher low and higher high pattern. In other words, what we want to see here soon is this next low not obviously be lower than this. So we want to be able to see the price action come down, effectively bounce off 44,500, and then continue back up. That would be optimal. Obviously, the best case scenario, the price would just continue to shoot up from here. But generally speaking, it's one of those things where it's just, we got to wait it out and kind of be patient. But for lack of better terms, we haven't established higher highs and higher lows yet. So this trend hasn't reversed yet. So again, you want to wait for confirmation in most cases before you get back in. And in that sense, I would say that we're almost there. But there's truth in the sense that we might actually see the price retrace and kind of come down and bounce. All right. Again, not terrible, not great. We're kind of more so at that fair to Midland point right now where the price is kind of averaging itself out. I think with the significant support there at 44,500, how strong it's holding so far, as well as the fact that it was a point of contention for quite some time. You can see it tried multiple times before it got to break out. And if you test a resistance level, how many times was that? That was maybe about half a dozen times. The likelihood of the price coming back down to bounce off of that is very high. You see this established with all-time highs too. You get like a coin breakout to the upside. It'll come back down and test that key level resistance again, and it'll oftentimes work as a strong support to continue to push up. So my speculation here is that this 44,500 is a very strong support level, and we should expect to see it continue to maintain and hold. That's my speculation, because once again, when it comes to continuation plays or just in general, I would much rather trust a support and resistance level and or zone over specific indicators. And this has proven to be a very solid resistance level in the past. Therefore, I think we're going to see it be a very solid support. That being said, I hope you found benefit here today. I apologize once again for not being able to get much content out here. I'm going to go ahead and rest my voice, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll look forward to seeing the next one. Comment below if you have any questions or concerns. You want to become a community member, link in the description below as well. I look forward to getting to know you better. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for your time.